Tetzaveh. It's also the parsha of Purim. Freilich Purim to everybody. This Friday, it's a very rare occurrence when Purim comes out on Friday. It's Israel to have a Purim Misholosh, 3 days of Purim. Freilich Purim, we shall be zeichet to the Simchas of Purim, the Simcha of Purim. We know the Gemara says famously, Haman min HaTorah minayin. Where do we know Haman from the Torah? Where's the remez of the name Haman in the Torah? It says Hamin ha'etz. When Adam Harishon, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Adam Harishon not to eat from the Eitz Hadas, and then he caught him red-handed. He said, Hamin ha'etz hazeh shamarti. From that tree did you eat? Hamin, Haman? Okay, there's Haman. Where do you know Mordechai from? Because it says Mar Deror in the ingredients for the Keteris. There's the mir, the plant which is called the mir plant, which is the Mar Deror, and the Targum Oklis is Mar Deror says Mar Dachia, Amar Dachia, and Mordechai has the same letters. Oh, we found Mordechai in the Torah. Obviously, the Gemara is not just looking for random letters and random words that are similar to Haman and Mordechai. Obviously, there's something much deeper going on over here. What the remez of Haman is from the Eitz Hadas, and the remez of Mordechai is Dafka from the Keteris. And we open up the Maral, and our Chodesh, the Maral says that the Aveira of eating from the Eitz Hadas was the Yetzer Hara's first successful project. He tried and he succeeded. He tried to pull Adam Rishon away from keeping the mitzvahs Hashem, and he succeeded. And Adam Rishon did not stand up to the Nisayim. And this is the symbol of the Yetzer Hara trying to destroy the connection between man and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says do, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says not to do, and he says do. Yes, you can do it. This is the Yetzer Hara, and this is Haman, who's trying to destroy, to sow destruction and destroy Kedusha in the world, destroy Klal Yisrael. This is Haman, this is Hamin ha'etz, because Haman is following in the footsteps of the Yetzer Hara, of the Satan, of the Malach HaMavos. Mordechai, on the other hand, is the symbol of Keteris. Keteris, we know, has the power to stop a Magefa, like we saw by Aaron HaKohen. But we know that Moshe told Aaron HaKohen to take the Keteris because this has a koyach to stop the Magefa. It has a koyach to stop destruction. So this is Mordechai, this is Haman, this is the Maral very beautifully. Haman is from the Yetzer Hara, from the Eitz Hadas. Mordechai is the symbol of Keteris, and that's why the remez is dafka in these two ideas of the Eitz Hadas, of the Yetzer Hara, and of the Keteris. Lekar Shiva, Rabbi Yochanan Shlita gives a little more insight into this based on the words of the founder of Shir Baron Kotler, the Tetzaveh B'Kodesh L'Bracha. When Esav wanted to sell his Bechor to Yaakov, he said, I'm going to sell you my rights of being the firstborn. So it says over there that Yaakov made a deal with him, very good businessman, took a bowl of soup, he sold a bowl of soup, he got the Bechor. We all know the Chazal explained that Yaakov explained to Esav that the Bechor is going to be the one who's going to do the Avodah. And Esav said, do I really need all this trouble of being the one who's going to do the Avodah? If I do it wrong, I get killed, I have Misa. Nah, I don't want this. Take it, and then it says in the Torah, Vayives Esav Sabachar. The Torah gives edus, the Torah is witness to the fact that Esav disgraced the Bechor. What does it mean, disgraced the Bechor? He sold her for a bowl of soup. How disgraceful can you be to a Bechor, to such a davar shel kedusha of the rights to be able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Mishkan, and to sell that off for a bowl of soup? He was Vayivas Esav Sabachar. Esav had the knowledge. He grew up in Yitzchak's house. He was a grandson of Avram. He was a brother of Yaakov. He knew very well what the Torah demands from a Yid. He knew very well what Kedusha is about, what Torah is about. Yet he was vayives. He disgraced it. He was not somebody who had ignorance, who didn't understand. He understood very well, and he was vayives. This is the worst kind of Russia. The worst kind of Russia is a Russia that knows what he's doing. He knows everything. He knows all the information. Yet he decides. He takes a decision to disgrace the Kedusha. This is the highest level of the Yetzer Hara of Satan and Malach HaMavos. When we talk about the Satan and the Yetzer Hara knows very well the Yetzer Hara's job is to find within a person, to disconnect a person from knowledge and Maisa, from Yediyah and Maisa, from what he knows is right, and to discourage him from doing it. This was the legacy of Esav, which he passed down very proudly to his grandson Amalek, and Amalek further to all of his descendants. This is where Haman got the idea of disconnecting Kedusha, disconnecting a person from Kedusha. He saw Klal Yisrael in Golas, doing the mitzvahs with Mordechai, so he couldn't stand. Haman, the grandson of Agog, the grandson of Amalek, was not able to stand for this, and he had to reignite the fire of the Yetzer Hara, the fire of the Satan, from the Hamina Eitz, from the very first disconnect of Kedusha. This is what he had to disconnect. Mordechai, on the other hand, was representing the Keteris. What's the Keteris? Interesting. The Ramban and the Sforno both point out in our parsha we find the instructions for how to construct the Mizbeach Hazav. We know there's Mizbeach Hapanim, Mizbeach Hachitza. There was a Mizbeach that they used for most of the karbanos, for the blood, for the Ivarim, for the Imurim. That was outside in the Chatzar, in the Azara, the Beis Hamikdash, and the Mishkan was in the Chatzar. Then there was a Mizbeach Hapanim, and Mizbeach Keteris. It was very rarely used. Very rarely did they go there to use it for blood. Only in Yom Kippur, very unique situations when they used it actually for avodah. What was used for every day? It was used for the Keteris. Where do we find it? Not together with all the other kelim parshas Truma. It's after all the kelim, after all the big day Kohen Gadol, when the Torah tells us how to make the clothing of the Kohen Gadol. Then there's a little parsha of the Miluyim, of when we're first going to start using the Beis Hamikdash, which Kabbalah, and all the way at the end we thought, I forgot to tell you, there's another Mizbeach. Why is this Mizbeach disconnected from everything else that has to do with the building of the Beis Hamikdash? Says the Ramban and the Sforno and Rabbi Yerucham Moshe quotes the words that this Mishkan doesn't symbolize the regular avodah of the Beis Hamikdash. Regular avodah of the Beis Hamikdash has to do with Hashras HaShechina, it has to do with Kaparas Avonos, with atoning for our sins, it has to do with bringing the Shechina closer to us. This Keteris, bringing the Keteris, did not have a practical benefit to Klal Yisrael. It was not for any of the benefits that the other avodah had. It was for one thing only. This was kavod, to give kavod to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's the words of the Ramban and the words of the Sforno, and they prove it from Sukkim in Tehillim. David HaMelech talks about Tikkun Mincha Keteris, that my tefillah should be Tikkun Tefilasi Keteris, that my tefillah should be like Keteris. It's only to bring nachas ruach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's giving kavod. This house, this Beis Hamikdash, is a house of kavod for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And at the end of the day, after everything is said and done, or very beginning of the day, we're going to bring the Keteris only the kavod HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It has there's one goal in mind when the Kohen brought the Keteris, was to bring kavod to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kavod, to restore the kavod. This kavod that Esav HaRasha, when he bought his bowl of soup and he sold his bechira, he was vayivaz. He disgraced the bechira, he disgraced the kedusha, and he disgraced the avodah. This is what the Keteris is doing. It's bringing it back, and that's why the Keteris says Rabbi Yerucham Moshe has the power to stop a magefa. The magefa comes when there's a disconnect between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's a disconnect between kedusha, between person and kedusha. There's a disconnect between what I know and what I do. I know it's right, but I'm not doing it. I know what to do, but I'm not bringing kedusha. Esav is so happy. The Malach HaMavis is happy. The Yetzer Hara is happy, and they're having a field day. They're going out and spreading a pandemic. And then how do you stop that with the Keteris? Bringing back the kedusha, bringing back the kavod to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is symbolizing the Keteris. Wishing everybody a Freilich Purim. May we all strive to be like Mordechai. May we all strive to be like the Mordechai, like the Mordechai, to bring the kedusha back to our lives, to bring the kedusha back to the avodah, to hope for the day when everybody will see that Hashem Echad, the Shema Echad, the kavod of Hashem, the same tein pachtacha, the same tein kavod la'amcha, that everybody will recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Melech al kol haaretz. Vayemu Hashem Echad, Shema Echad. It should be this year, this day, as soon as possible. Good Shabbos and a Freilich Purim. We shall all be zeicha to the Simcha of Purim that should permeate our lives and our families the entire year.